Hi bishes, welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to be talking about some of my controversial opinions about K-pop in general, including the industry, globalization, idol image, and crazy fans. Before we begin, just a quick disclaimer: if you disagree with me, that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Now if you are the kind of person that gets triggered easily, I suggest you click off this video right now. If you want to discuss my opinions or share yours in the comments, go right ahead. In fact, I would appreciate that. But please be respectful. These are just my opinions. It's not that deep. None of my opinions are intended to be hateful or disrespectful towards anyone. And just because I have a certain opinion, that does not mean I think whatever is going on is right and should remain that way. Alright, let's begin. The beauty standards in the K-pop industry and in South Korea in general are quite strict and rigorous. But more than anywhere else, people in the entertainment industry are highly pressured to look a certain way. Everything from their weight, skin tone, facial features, and even if their shoulders form a certain angle from their neck or some nonsense, are things that are expected to be quote unquote perfect in terms of the beauty standard in the industry. Not only physical beauty, but idols are manufactured to have specific personalities as well. An example of this is Jennie from Blackpink. She is made to have the bad bitch persona and the rich girl that loves Chanel only and is above all as peasants. They are made to behave a certain way on reality shows, at award shows, in their music videos, at fan events, and everything else that is done in the public eye. Physically, idols are doll-like and seem to be meeting this standard that is unattainable for the average human being. They are portrayed to have abs all the time, clear skin, perfect hair, etc., and this is a huge part of being an idol. I mean, they are literally called idols. I personally think these standards are way too extreme, as do many people who are K-pop fans. Most if not all K-pop idols struggle a lot physically and mentally to constantly fit these standards and maintain their image. However, if this was not the case in the industry and idols were not forced to be perfect all the time physically as well as in terms of their behavior, then K-pop would never have been as big as it is today. This image of unattainable perfection that idols are forced to hold up physically and behaviorally is what makes them seem godlike in the eyes of tons of fans. It is what makes it so easy to put them on a pedestal and see them as goals for what you might want to be. And this is one of the most attractive things about K-pop, as well as one of the things that makes the industry as big as it is today. This one has been said before and I agree with it. Because of the way K-pop idols are promoted, the relationship between fans and idols is completely different than what you would typically see between celebrities and fans in the West. Fan-idol relationships are much more intimate in South Korea, and because of such a dynamic existing, it is very easy for there to be an abuse of power. All of us like to think that idols are these perfect, amazing, incredibly nice human beings that would never hurt a fly, but we can never know anyone's true personality or intentions since a lot of it is manufactured for the camera and the public eye. If an idol and a fan were to ever get into a relationship publicly without there being a dating ban, the idol could easily abuse their fame and power and get away with it, while for the other person things could go down a very dark road. Another case in which I think the ban makes sense is for rookies. Rookie idols should focus on their training rather than finding love, because training is very intense, and if you actually want to debut, then dating can be a distraction that can prevent you from doing your best and reaching your potential. This can also hold other members of the group down and make the group look bad overall. The dating ban actually helps idols focus on their career more. Also, idols are extremely busy people in general, and especially when they are just starting out. It can be extremely difficult for them to balance their personal and professional lives, since they are still getting used to the idol life. If they add dating into the mix, not only will their focus deter from their career that they are still building, but it also won't be fair for the other person because they won't get the time and attention from their partner that they deserve. I know a lot of people absolutely hate the whole BTS paved the way thing and couldn't disagree more if they tried. But hear me out. Yes, there were tons of K-pop groups that made it to the West before BTS did. Before you call me ignorant and say I am unwilling to acknowledge everything that second-gen groups have done for K-pop, you are just plain wrong. Just because I think BTS paved the way doesn't mean I think second-gen groups didn't do anything. Back to the point. Yes, there was already a Western audience before BTS was a thing. And yes, second gen groups are responsible for creating these initial fan bases outside of South Korea. However, nobody has ever done it like BTS. BTS has broken tons of records, topped tons of charts, and made history in music whether it is South Korean or Western. They literally represent South Korea and people are proud to call them the representatives of their country. No other group has been able to do that before. Yes, there are other groups on the rise that are incredibly talented and deserve the world, but will they ever be as big as BTS? As much as I hate to say it, I unfortunately don't think so. It's kind of like in a competition. Everyone remembers the gold medalist for years and years after, but the silver and bronze medalists get forgotten pretty soon. Again, before you come at me, I am not saying that K-pop idols need to compete to see how far that can get in the West and that should be their ultimate goal. But in terms of global success, I personally just don't see any group ever getting as big as BTS. They paved the way, but it was paved for nobody. No one is going to walk that way anytime soon. After they disband, the K-pop world will be very different. At least internationally, the number of K-pop fans will die down. And I am saying this from personal experience. A lot of my friends and myself got into K-pop because of BTS. Before BTS I legit knew 2 K-pop songs, one of which was Gangnam Style. It is only after getting into BTS that I discovered other groups, and that is the case for a lot of international fans. Once BTS is gone, a lot of international fans will lose interest in K-pop real quick. And this is going to make it hard for groups to break back into the Western market. Also, just to clarify, just because something is popular, doesn't mean it is the best. So don't come at me saying that just because I am an ARMY I don't care about other groups and think BTS are the best at everything. Secondly, I am only talking about success in terms of global popularity. Success is subjective and one achievement of one K-pop group does not define success for all K-pop groups and set the bar for what they should strive to achieve. If you deny that the album was a bop and literally one of the, if not the best thing that Blackpink has put out in their entire career, you are a liar. Finally, they have been given some creative control and a chance to express themselves in their music and actually sing what they want to sing about. It all seems to be looking up. However, given the way things have gone for them in their career so far, I don't think the girls will really want to hold on to their careers much longer. At least no YG. They have only been around for 4 years but have already been through so much crap. So many Blinks have become ex-Blinks because they have lost interest in their repetitive comebacks, and a lack of comebacks in general. The girls have gotten so much hate, and of course with more popularity comes more hate, but for some reason I get the vibe that the girls are really done with it all. Honestly, I can't blame them. Mistreatment from their own company, hatred from their own fandom, and truckloads of other BS in just 4 years is exhausting. Unless things take a dramatic turn for the better, I think they will unfortunately go their separate ways. Okay, now this is a very general statement and I am no K-pop guru or anything, but honestly a lot of the rapping I have come across in K-pop is not really rapping. Rapping is not just about being able to talk fast or talk with a certain attitude in your voice. If you look at the definition of rapping on Wikipedia, it says rap is a form of vocal delivery that incorporates rhyme, rhythmic speech, and street vernacular which are performed or chanted in a variety of ways, usually over a backing beat or a musical instrument. It also says that flow and delivery are an important part of rapping. A lot of what the so-called rappers are doing, yeah, that ain't it, sis. Sometimes I won't even realize that a certain part of a song was supposed to be the rap part because it literally has no elements of what a rap is supposed to have, lol. That being said, there are a lot of extremely talented rappers in the industry that actually know how to deliver and perform rap very well. But in general, I feel like rap has been watered down and a lot of verses and several songs considered to be rap aren't rap at all. This one is not exactly controversial, but I really think it needs to be said because I have seen a lot of people saying that K-pop idols or companies have no responsibilities when it comes to research about cultural appropriation and they have no obligation to educate themselves on the element of the certain culture they are borrowing. and that they can basically do whatever the hell they want. This is complete BS, especially for companies that are trying to promote groups internationally or in the West. If you want to promote a group somewhere, then maybe it would be a good idea to do some kind of research about the people there, their cultures, what is considered offensive, and what is not. It's really not that hard. Companies are careless and lazy and can't do a simple Google search before putting idols in offensive and disrespectful outfits, and then the idols have to endure hate and criticism. Speaking of idols, companies should also educate them about what they are wearing and its historical and cultural significance. A lot of idols are ignorant and have no idea what they are doing or wearing, and because of their ignorance they end up unintentionally mocking or making fun of other cultures. This is not okay. Yes, I know that Korea is a racially homogeneous country and they are not exposed to or educated about the history of every other culture on this planet. I am not expecting every K-pop idol to pick up a world history textbook and start studying. But I don't think you really need more than 2 brain cells to understand that if you are borrowing something from a culture that is not yours, it is your responsibility to understand it and make sure you are not mocking it or being disrespectful in any way. Honestly, I don't get how this isn't common sense, LMAO, especially for companies that are trying to promote their groups in the West or internationally in general. I really can't emphasize that enough. Before you come at me, hear me out and listen to this part carefully. I am not blaming idols for the existence of sassyings. It is not their fault whatsoever, and they do not deserve to be tortured by crazy stalker fans that constantly invade their personal space and literally make it impossible for them to even take a dump in peace. They are just doing their job, and are following the strict rules they have been made to follow. It is the fault of the industry though. The way the K-pop industry promotes idols and the image that they are made to have, plays a big role in creating delusional fans. Like I said before, the relationship between fans and idols in South Korea is very different than the relationship between a Hollywood celebrity and a fan, for example. This dynamic that exists between the fan and the idol feeds into delusional fantasies that these fans might have, which turns them into stalkers and consumes their life. Now, I am not saying that sassyings are not a thing in the West at all. There are crazy stalker fans everywhere that will literally do illegal things to be as close to their idols or whoever they look up to as possible. But there are way more sassying fans in Asia than there are in the West, and this definitely has to do with the way the industry has chosen to market idols. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I didn't trigger you to the point of wanting to cancel me. Subscribe if you haven't already if you like pop content that's being revived from the dead, and I'll see you in the next video.